Every stereotype depicted in this movie is statistically accurate. Let's take a look at all of the stereotypes in the movie Zootopia and see if they are true or false. Number 1, cops love coffee and donuts. True or false? 2, the DMV is slow. 3, the little rodent creatures, I don't know their real name, are vulnerable and helpless. 4, the sheep are gentle and meek.
I don't have to cower in a herd anymore.
5, rabbits love carrots, they're good at multiplying, and they are cute. Do they love carrots? Check. Are they good at multiplying?
Your dad, me, your 275 brothers and sisters.
Check. Are they cute? There is a word for people who do not think that Judy Hopps is cute. Al-Qaeda. 6, predators are aggressive.
He bared his teeth first.
7, the foxes are shady or untrustworthy. There's only 3 foxes shown in this movie. Gideon Gray is a bully, Nick's partner is a dangerous crook, and Nick Wilde, though likable, is still a crook. And 8, the media tries to make things contentious so that they have better ratings.
Judy, Officer Hopps, were you just threatened by that predator?
No, he's my friend.
We can't even trust our own friends.
You need to understand that there is a huge difference between racism, which is always evil, and stereotypes, which are based on statistics. They are just numbers. Some stereotypes are bad, some of them are good, but they are based on numbers, not on race. Most people use the words interchangeably, but they're very different, and that's one of the lessons that Zootopia is trying to teach us. So again, a stereotype is something that is statistically accurate, meaning not in every single case, but on average, statistically, in most cases. But the message of this movie is that just because something is stereotypically true doesn't mean you have to let that define you. In fact, all the main characters in this movie are characters who, either for good or bad, broke out of the stereotype. They broke the statistics. All of the little rodent creatures are helpless, except for the mob boss. All the sheep are timid and gentle, except for the one that decided to become insanely power hungry. Now there's a whole other theory out there that this particular sheep represents a particular former Secretary of State, but I'm not gonna touch that theory because I don't wanna accidentally commit suicide tomorrow. So rabbits stay at home, they farm carrots, they're too small to make a difference. But Judy Hopps breaks out of that stereotype. She makes a decision at a very young age that she is not going to let any statistic define her.
No one tells me what I can or can't be.
She's going to make her own choices and make her own impact, and by doing, she's going to
Make the world a better place.
When you're faced with others judging you based on a stereotype, you can either say, well, what's the point in trying to be different? Or you can change, and by so doing, you can show people that that stereotype is not statistically accurate because you are different, you don't fit that mold. Nick goes with the first option. As much as I had to bite my tongue at the scene of Nick being bullied as a child, Nick says it himself.
If the world's only gonna see a fox as shifty and untrustworthy, there's no point in trying to be anything else.
This tugs at our heartstrings because anyone with a heart wants to stop bullying and unjust treatment. Those kids never should have treated Nick this way. But Nick is still accountable for his own decisions. He should not have let his whole life be defined by the way other people treat him. He shouldn't have chosen to become a criminal as a profession because a group of kids bullied him when he was a child. We forget that Judy Hopps had almost the exact same experience at almost the exact same age. They were both attacked by other animals trying to convince them that they can't be anything other than the negative stereotype. In Nick's case, it's that foxes are untrustworthy. And Nick lets the bullies win because he just adds to that statistic. In Judy's case, it's that rabbits are weak and they're not tough enough to make any kind of real change in the world. Judy proves the bullies wrong by breaking the statistic, by going outside of it and choosing who she wants to be. Nick has to be taught that breaking the stereotype is the best way to get other people to stop judging him based on the stereotype. And then as more and more people don't fit that, the statistic changes. The only stereotype that really bothers Nick is the one that says foxes are untrustworthy. And that's because it impacts him personally in a way that he feels is unjust. But all the other stereotypes don't seem to bother him, because in his personal experience, they are statistically accurate.
You think when she goes to sleep, she counts herself? Or saying that because he's a sloth, he can't be fast? Sly fox, dumb bunny, timberwolves. Look at these dum-dums. Bet you a nickel one of them's gonna howl. And there it is. I mean, what is it with wolves and the howling?
After he spends a couple of days with Judy, who took the opposite approach that he took, he realizes that he's capable of being something other than fitting the stereotype. He realizes he's actually really good at being the good guy, at being a detective. And he's not only ready to stop being a criminal, but he's ready to become a cop. Talk about a 180-degree switch. Then at that press conference, he relapses for just a brief moment where he starts to see himself as a victim again. And as soon as he starts to view himself in that light, he starts feeling again like there's nothing he can do. He has no control over his own life. He can't impact the world. He can't change his own circumstances. The result of that mindset is that, one, he starts to take offense really easily, even when none is intended.
Nick, stop it. You're not like them.
Oh, there's a them now.
And two, he's pretty unhappy. Then Nick and Judy talk it out. When he realizes that he is not a bad guy and he's not a victim in Judy's mind, and in his own mind, he realizes that he can break out of the stereotype, that he doesn't have to let that define him anymore. And once he has this new mindset that he learned from Judy, he's not bothered by stereotypes anymore. He can even joke about them openly without having any feelings hurt, because he understands that they no longer apply to him.
So are all rabbits bad drivers, or is it just you?
Oops. Sorry.
Sly bunny.
Dumb fox.
You know you love me.
The way you act determines if a stereotype is solidified in somebody's mind or if it is challenged. And that is the secret of how you break out of that stereotype and stop being judged by that, is you show people that you are different. And once you have done that, you have now changed the statistics in their mind. One of my favorite real-life examples of this is Ben Carson. In his book, Gifted Hands, he talks about an experience he had when he was a brand new brain surgeon. One of his first days in the hospital, he goes to see a nurse, and the nurse assumes that he is an orderly and tells him to go get, so-and-so's bed sheets. Now, he could either be super offended by this, like, oh, she just assumed that I'm an orderly because I'm black. Or he realizes that she's not acting out of racism. She's not doing that because she thinks blacks are inferior. She's just doing that because she hasn't yet met a black brain surgeon. So instead of getting offended and yelling at her and freaking out and letting his whole day be ruined, he just simply corrects her. Oh, no, actually, I'm here to perform the brain surgery. Now he has switched the stereotype in her mind. She will no longer ever assume that a black employee here must be an orderly, because now she's seen that not all the black employees are orderlies anymore. And so she apologizes to him. He says he can tell, how awful she felt. And that was actually a good experience for both of them, because he showed that that stereotype is incorrect. And consequently, her whole attitude is going to be different from now on. Chief Bogo in Zootopia is another really good example. When Judy Hopps shows up, despite the fact that she has all these accolades from the mayor and that she was the top of her class and all of those things, he still views her as a weak bunny, and he doesn't want to put her in a dangerous situation where she could get killed. So instead, he ensures that she's going to be safe by only dealing with traffic stops. But now she has shown Chief Bogo that rabbits aren't weak, that they can contribute, that they can take care of themselves. So the next time a bunny makes it onto the force, he's not going to treat that bunny the same way. His stereotype in his mind has been changed, so he's going to treat that bunny different. The same thing happens with Nick, whereas Chief Bogo used to think,
you think I'm going to believe a fox?
Now, because Nick has shown that he is trustworthy, he's changed the stereotype in Chief Bogo's mind because he helped with that case. And then he went as far as becoming a cop. And so now Chief Bogo no longer thinks all foxes are untrustworthy. Now he treats Nick exactly how he treats everybody else.
Shut your mouth, Wilde.
So the message isn't that stereotypes are evil or don't believe in stereotypes even. The message is simply, while stereotypes are statistically true, you do not have to let them define you. You get to choose the kind of person you're going to be and the kind of life you're going to live, regardless of what all the other animals around you think. As you show them that you're different, you're going to change the way that people treat you. You're going to change the way people even think and treat other people that might have otherwise fit that same stereotype.
Look inside yourself and recognize that change starts with you.